going on, people? Back with another one. Over here at the truck, trying to mess with this door and see if I can fix that real quick. I got a buddy of mine over here cleaning his truck. He's making noise. I used to drive that damn truck. It never looked that dirty, I swear to God. And I'm calling him out on it on video. That way he's got no choice but to keep it clean. Nah, he does containers out here in Detroit. And you guys have heard me talk about how dirty of a job containers is, especially here in Detroit. Yeah, that's the result of it. You may as well be going through construction zones and working with gravel. Probably be cleaner. So because for this door I got a new panel, because this thing is like cracked here, that looks like they had one of those armrests or something. I don't care about it too much, so what I'm going to end up doing is actually I'm going to use a hole saw to cut a hole here so I can see if I can fish the mechanism up and try to do it that way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of cardboard in between the glass and this piece in case I go too far with a drill and I don't, you know, break a window. He's looking at me like I'm crazy and I'm talking to myself. I mean, he knows I'm crazy and I talk to myself. Yo, what kind of smoothie you want?
Smoothie?
Yeah.
No, man, I'm about to go get us food. Put your smoothie.
You're not allergic to peanut butter, are you?
Hell no.
Okay, good. Hey, see if you can open the door from outside, my dog.
Thought the gear, is this EJ's? I'm like, yep. What did you do? Hoppa. Good job. Yeah, buddy. Get it done.
I may or may not at some point in my life knew how to unlock a car without a key.
No.
But may or may not. I'm not saying if I did or didn't. I'm just happy the some bitch is open. Alright, well, I guess the good news is it wasn't a big problem with the door, but so I got a new handle. I'll show you where it broke. So this thing is what actually broke. It used to be seated like that, but because it's out, you know, this wouldn't have worked. So as far as taking this out, pretty easy. It's got a bolt here. Obviously, you know, these plastic tabs, they come out like this. So just like that. And then this comes out. I do need to change this whole thing, and the lock has got to come out. So that little retainer comes off. Just a little screwdriver will do the trick for that. Gotta save that. So that comes out like that. And then while I have it here, it's a lot easier to take that retainer clip out from there, and that's what actually holds the lock in place. And the lock comes up. Hi guys, it's the next day. I had somewhere to be last night, so I couldn't really, finish everything. But so this is the new stuff, or the new handle. I just gotta tighten that adjustment nut, that tightening nut right there. Put the cover back on, and that's it. And then this what the that top piece looks like. If somebody wants to change that out, these 3 bolts have to come out. They have nuts on the other side. There's two screws up here, 2 little bolts, and then there's 2 bolts that hold the this bracket on up here. That's got to come out as well. How good you can see that? Yeah, right there and right there. And then this one you don't have to touch, but these 2 do have to come out. So I just got to put this on, and then I also got a couple of things that I got to change as far as some of the lights that were broken, or one of the lights that was broken in the front. And what I'm going to try to do is jack up the front end and see if I can shake it down. It's getting a little bit of a shimmy coming back from the last trip, and I didn't quite like that, so we'll see what that's about. This little adjustment screw, all this does is this U bracket here, it pushes that in like a fork to adjust the tightness of this. It doesn't have to be super tight. Yeah, don't go crazy on that. You'll probably end up snapping it. Just make sure it's got a lock washer on it, or a lock nut, and just leave it alone. That works. That works. That's good. That's good. All right. This stuff here, you can almost see the indentation of where the motors used to sit, or so just kind of play with the up and down, with the window up and down to adjust it there. Just makes it easier to align this piece. So make sure nothing is touching that. What I would suggest is put these screws on first that hold the regulator, the window regulator assembly, and then put the screws around the outside of it. Alright guys, so this piece is on. Well, what I actually did find out that this thing was missing was this little window here. I can leave it without it. It's really not going to be that big a deal, but it'll bug me. So I'm just going to make one out of just a piece of ABS plastic. So this thing is about 9 inches and 7 inches. So 9 by 7, then I can notch the little corners there myself. So what'll help, will really help you in this case to cut this thing is some C-clamps and a straight edge ruler, piece of metal, doesn't matter. And the reason why I say that is dealing with something so sharp, and it could be kind of a pain in the butt to hold this in place and actually use the razor just to watch yourself. And if you have a pair of these, why not use them? Now I don't really have to worry about anything except just my cutting hands. I'm just using just a box cutter. Really, that's all you got to do to it. So, nine inches there. We got 7 inches. 7 and 7. And this piece of plastic, like this is what we would use for like you know, making like a speaker adapter or something like that. So it's fairly soft, so you don't really have to, you know, put a whole lot of pressure on it, but just enough. So I usually go a couple of times and then just bend it down, and that's your straight cut. Now something this small, a pair of pliers can be pretty handy. And that's it. So that's it right there. Now all I gotta really do is just trim those edges a little bit, and that's it. So to trim the edges, just a pair of shears will work too. So I'm just using some self-tappers, but instead of just self-tapping them, just don't, you know, have to put so much pressure on the little sheet metal, I'm just pre-drilling them first. Now I double checked for the screws here, make sure I wasn't in the way of anything, but just to be on the safe side, give everything just a quick operational test. Make sure it's not binding on anything, and that's all she wrote. Now this leather piece here would have had pretty much these push clips everywhere, but you know, they've been kind of broken over time, and they did put a bunch of screws on it, so Alright, also what I got to do today is, one of my little bumper lights here burned out. Looks like just a bunch of corrosion probably got in there and salt and messed it up. But I like this style with the little visor on top like that, because it was kind of, you know, meant for that position, and they didn't have any of that stuff there, so I got one of these with the visor like that. But what I'm going to end up doing is, it's the same style, so I'm just going to take the visors off and put them on that, just clean them up real nice. So gotta do that as well. So I can't really see any marking on this, nor I can see the color of what this is. It's supposed to be amber in the front, red in the back. So what I'm going to do is my trusty old battery here. White, when it comes to lighting on semis, it's always ground. Alright, so the type that, or the cap that I have off is red, so it goes like that. And that's the only reason why I removed one of these now. I just remove it since I got to take it out anyway. What you could also do is put a piece of tape there or whatever the case is, but now I know it's got to go in like this. Alright, so for a lot of this stuff I do use butt connectors, and these are like the shrinkable kind. But what I usually do, just so I keep this, you know, nice and neat, is I stagger them. So I'll cut one shorter, one longer, and then the other one longer still. And I try to keep it, you know, fairly the same distance, I guess, from one another, but you know, just eyeing it is good. In case anybody is wondering why I'm doing that, is just so if all of these, like, look how skinny profile that thing has, if all of them were together the same length, look how much thicker that is compared to the rest of the wires, and you'll just have one big bulge there, where when you stagger them out like that, you could still use on this one probably even you know, as little as a 1/4 inch wire loom to go over top of it, nice and neat, and you don't have that one big bulge there. Alright guys, that's all she wrote for today. Finished that light. Finished the door. Cleaned it up real good on the inside. And finally changed the light switch. Also did was I jacked up the front end real quick and gave it like a really good shakedown just to see if, you know, anything loose in the front as far as, you know, out of tie rods and that sort of thing. Touched up the frame a little bit, especially the areas where, you know, we had to take apart to do the air ride. And since I was at it, I touched up the back too just a little bit. Well, I did end up cleaning all the tools, putting everything away, but the ground got a little dirty here. We're just working, so I'm going to give this a final sweep real quick, a good just a hose down, and going home. Tomorrow I got a doctor's appointment for my ear. My ear is bothering me a little bit. And then I'm going to go unload the load that I have that I brought back from Indiana, and we'll see from there whether I'm going to go out tomorrow or if I'm going to go out Tuesday. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, so if there's a video coming up, you automatically see it. It notifies you. And have a great day, guys. We'll see you on the next one.